When I look back about time with Sheeds, the things that he and the wisdom that he provided about what I needed to be a good player, and he was, he rode me hard, but I think it was because he saw, the talent that I had, and he wanted me to succeed. And I guess when you're young, you sort of think, oh, gee, the coach is on my back and this sort of thing. But the older you get, you realise that it's from a point of care, and they want the best for you. When you're young, you only see it as I guess as a young person, you don't have that experience to actually utilise what they're talking to you about. So for Sheeds, I think back now and I think, I'm glad I had someone who was willing to ride me hard to help me try and get to the stage that I got to and to have the career that I was able to have.
Was he like a sort of a second father figure for yourself?
Yeah, I think he was able to see perhaps where I needed to be pushed, and that was from that period as a private school kid who didn't play a lot of TAC Cup footy and wasn't really immersed in the football programs coming through. He probably saw that you needed. It was really competitive. The AFL was really competitive, and I hadn't had that sort of competition as a junior, but you need it to be successful in footy, and he was able to help show me that.
It's been pretty well documented, the scenario surrounding Essendon in the last few years. How do you look back at your time in the AFL?
Yeah, I think, I guess I look back and say, I had some great experiences and I had some really tough ones, and that, but that is life, like life is never going to be easy, and the challenges is where you really learn the most about yourself and what you're capable of, and so I think back about it now and I think, like if I had a cruisy career, what kind of state would that put me in for the rest of my life? I'll probably just cruise through life, but that's not how you achieve anything. And so, there's sadness that there was such a long part of my career was taken up in what took place, but there's also a part of me that thinks, well, like I've learned so much about myself, and I was able to deal with real pressure, and I was, I'm really proud of how I conducted myself through that period, and how I led other people who were going through real adversity as well, and the guidance and support that I showed them, and I think that holds me in great stead for life after footy, which is really what your life is. It's not your time in footy, it's what you do afterwards, and so I look back and I think, well, like they were the cards that I was dealt, and all I could do was behave and act a certain way through that, and that I have no regrets with how I handled myself through that.
How was it? What was it like being the captain during that period, and did you ever want to hand that sort of title back as the leader of the footy club?
It was really, I guess it was, you don't realise how much stress you're carrying until you sort of take it off, and that's sort of when we got banned and I came over here, I started to separate myself from that world, and I started to realise what I'd been sort of carrying through it. And so being able to come back and I really knew that I didn't want to be the captain anymore, because I just didn't want to have to handle all those responsibilities. But when I was going through it, I didn't, it was really tough, but I just thought, I've just got to keep going, and that level of responsibility to other players and in a role of leadership, I thought, that it's really important that the person who they look to in a sense of leadership doesn't just give up, and still keeps guiding and keeps helping and is their person that they can rely on. So I didn't feel, as difficult as it was, I didn't feel like the right thing to do was to step away through that. But once we got through it, I knew that it was the right thing to do. Yeah.
Do you think you were a better player, or you played more freely this season without the title of captain?
I think that what I was really honest with myself. Like I was really like, I sat down and I said, I'm not going to do the right job because I know what the level of requirement is for the job, and I don't have that motivation to do it. So the right thing to, and the responsible thing to the rest of the people that you're leading, is to give it to someone else who will do it. And for that, I felt a lot freer because of that. But it probably stemmed from being, like having a really honest conversation with myself. And in the end, it's the same thing as retirement. Like if you know deep down that you don't want to do it, then you can't lie to yourself. You're like, you can lie to other people, but eventually you can't lie to yourself anymore. And that was the same thing with retirement.
Did the young guys still come to you for advice, or were they more going off to Dyson?
Yeah, and I think it was, in those. That period is always difficult where you've got someone who was a leader of the club and then someone else takes the role and there's that filling out sort of period. And so I tried to step back and let Dyson really take it on himself. But I was conscious that if people wanted guidance and help, then, the right thing to do was to be able to offer that. And so I felt it was a balancing act, and I think it is for anyone who goes from one role and then someone else takes it over. But I enjoyed it, and I think it will really... That period was good for Hep, and it will really help him now take more ownership of the leadership role that he has. And it also, I think he's really encouraged other people underneath him to help with leadership. And one of the things that's really exciting about the football club is the level of leadership they have now developed. And where they've got Dyson, but they've also got Cale Hooker, Hurls. BJ is more of an older sort of head, but Joey Danaher, Razio Fantasia, like any of those guys, Zachy Merritt obviously, any of those guys will be wonderful leaders in the future.
And do you think you'll return to Essendon in the future in any sort of capacity?
Yeah, I think I guess the club always will hold a really dear place for me and my family. It's been such a huge part of the whole family. So I think it'll be really, it'll always be a real connection for us all. Whether I come back in some form, I'm not sure. Have an involvement in footy, I'm not sure either. I might miss it too much and think like it's really what I love, it's what I want to do, I want to go back into it. But I don't know, that'll be something that I guess I'll end up having a conversation with myself again and say, what makes me happy? Does footy make me happy? If it does, then go back and do it. If it doesn't, then, that's okay too.
You spoke about your nieces, would you want them or potentially your future children to follow in your footsteps and play AFL or AFLW?
Yeah, I think, I guess the thing that I always had that I loved about Mum and Dad when I think about it now is they always just said, if you love it, do it, and if it makes you happy and you enjoy it, do it. It's like anything in life, it's hard work, there's good things about it and there's tough things about it. And that would be the same thing with my nieces. If they really loved it, then I'd love for them to play and I'd love to go and support them. Same as, if I'm lucky to have kids, and if that's what they want to do, then it's great. If it's not, then that's great too. That's I think, the right attitude to have about it. And that's the only way you can be successful is if you really love it, because it is hard work, and if you want to be really good at it, then you have to commit to it. And anything in life takes hard work.
And finally, what's the one thing you'll take from your AFL career? What's the most cherished memory, or what's something you'll take going forward from here?
I think the thing I love most about it is the enjoyment that I've been able to provide, not just my family, but a lot of other people. It's people come up to you and they talk to you about what it means to watch you play, or to what the club means to you, or what you've done, or how you've behaved. And I think in life, to be able to provide happiness to other people on a sort of a grand scale, it's a wonderful feeling. And so to be able to do that, I think has been something I'll look back on. And I think, I made a lot of people happy, and not just people that I really loved and cared about, but people that I didn't know. It's a nice thing to be able to do in life.
Well, Joe, thank you very much for joining us on the Exclusive Insight. We really appreciate your time and good luck in the future.
No problem. Thank you.